Let's now take a look at what weekly magazines have been saying around the world. And to help us do that, we've got our very own Florence Villeminot here with us. Hi, Flo. Obviously, Manuel Valls, France's new prime minister, seems to be dominating the magazine covers here.
That's right. It's a real media-friendly. It only seems like Courrier International is the only magazine that's kind of focusing on something different. A little bit. They're focusing on upcoming elections in India and focusing on one demographic that's going to play a key role in the election, and that's young people. 150 million young people are going to be voting in these legislative elections that kick off on Monday. So it talks about this India's youth, a decisive generation. But even these 150 million Indian young people have to share the front page with Manuel Valls here on the front page of Courrier International. So he's nominated as prime minister after the socialists got a huge slap in the face during those municipal elections earlier last month. Now, a lot of papers are focusing on just what this means for him. And Courrier International has kind of rounded up what the European press is saying about his nomination. La Stampa, the Italian paper, for instance, says his nomination is pretty risky because Manuel Valls was a very popular interior minister. But is this enough to restore confidence in French voters? La Stampa wonders. And another thing that a lot of papers are focusing on that's rounded up in Courrier International is the fact that this is a step to the right for the socialist government because Manuel Valls is seen as being very centrist on the right of the socialist party. And a lot of papers in Courrier International say it's not really much to the liking of a lot of people in the socialist party.
Now, of course, Valls, the prime minister, nominated by the president, François Hollande, but Valls himself has made no secret of his own presidential ambition.
That's right. And in fact, Le Point calls him the co-president this month. Valls has never made it a secret that he plans on running for president one day. And in fact, he ran against François Hollande during the socialist primary before the 2012 presidential race. Now, Le Point takes a look at what happened behind the stage, behind the scenes, and how Valls managed to twist François Hollande's arm into nominating him, because a lot of the French press has been saying that Hollande nominated him somewhat half-heartedly. He didn't want to get rid of his very loyal friend, the former Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault, and he had other candidates in mind. But a lot of the media is saying that Hollande really didn't have a choice, but he set up a mechanism to protect himself from Valls, and that is nominating a lot of his very close allies during this week's government reshuffle.
Well, a lot of papers are also already wondering if Manuel Valls might become a political rival of François Hollande sometime soon.
That's right. Nouvelle Obs wonders just what is going on in Manuel Valls' head. And you see this photo here, a very sly and mysterious-looking Valls. Nouvelle Obs wonders if he and Hollande could develop a rivalry that was similar to Jacques Chirac and Nicolas Sarkozy almost a decade ago. But in the meantime, they've had to develop a sort of complicity due to the circumstances. On the one hand, you have Hollande, who wants to save what's left of his broken 5-year term. That's what Nouvelle Obs calls it. And then you have Valls, who jumped on board because the ship was sinking. Now, if you haven't seen enough of him, he's here on the front page of L'Express as well, that talks about, and now Valls likens him to a trump card, actually, that Hollande was forced into playing after these catastrophic results in the municipal elections.
Funny to see him smiling, actually, on this cover compared to the other one. Now, Manuel Valls, of course, was interior minister before he became prime minister. Very controversial, and he is often compared to another former controversial interior minister who went on to become president, Nicolas Sarkozy.
That's right. And now Valls has actually often been nicknamed the Sarkozy of the left by the press. And in fact, the press uses the same words to describe him and Sarkozy. They're hyperactive, ambitious. And take a look at Charlie Hebdo. This is a satirical magazine this week. They're actually saying that Sarkozy has become prime minister. So in their head, it's very clear Sarkozy and Valls are very much the same person. In fact, Charlie Hebdo is not a very big fan of Manuel Valls and his tough talk, as they call him. But they also have different things in common. They're both married to musicians. Of course, Nicolas Sarkozy is married to Carla Bruni, and Manuel Valls is married to a violinist named Anne Gravoin, and she's on the front page of Paris Match with him this week, saying that she's going to stay by his side as he takes on the challenge of becoming prime minister. And Paris Match actually likens this to a humanitarian mission, an emergency mission that he has to accomplish.
Okay, Flo, just to finish up, I imagine not every single magazine is focusing on Vals. What else do you have?
Well, let's take a look at Jeune Afrique. They turned the spotlight on Algeria this week ahead of this month's presidential election. Abdelaziz Bouteflika, he has been president since 1999. He's running for his fourth term. Analysts say he's likely to win, but Jeune Afrique puts the spotlight on him and takes a look at his real track record. And finally, let's take a look at books. Now, it's a monthly magazine. It's kind of like Reader's Digest. It publishes extracts from books that are linked to current affairs. And this month, they're really focused on the rule of the internet. And there you can see the Facebook boss, Mark Zuckerberg. They wonder, is he the new Big Brother?
Interesting questions. Thank you so much, Florence Villeminot, for that look at the weekly news magazines. Coming up now in sports, a lot of happy football fans here in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain had a pretty great game last night against Chelsea. That's coming up in our coverage of the Champions League.